She epathized the crowd and made the whole world talk about her. While other stars feared even a hint of scandal, Mae West made an art out of it. Blonde with a defiant look and revealing outfits, she blew up theater halls with her plays and shattered taboos with her wit. But who is she? The queen of the sexual revolution, or a calculated provocateur? Why did her name become a symbol of looseness and her films a challenge to sanctimony? Brace yourself. This is the story of a woman who changed the world without fear of being too much. Mae West. In her rather long life, she lived 87 years, she managed to try out the roles of actress, playwright, and screenwriter, got the status of sex symbol and one of the most scandalous stars of the time, born baby girl in Brooklyn. It was August 1893. Mary Jane's father had time to be a boxer and a detective. I can see why little Jane was so versatile, and Mae West's mother, in her younger years, worked as a model. So the beauty and photogenic girl was also not deprived. Even if you are not familiar with her work, for sure you have at least once seen her photos. Platinum curls, thin eyebrows arched, frank cleavage. The standard set for a movie star of the last century. And yet Mae West was in many ways an innovator and pioneer. World-class celebrities often fall into two types. Some start their careers in early childhood, others find themselves in the right place at the right time. Mae West belonged to the first type. She began her journey to fame at the age of 5, participating in amateur productions. When Mae was 12, she began to actively move up the career ladder, playing in vaudeville. The first significant date was 1911. 18-year-old Miss West first appears on Broadway. Later, the girl appeared in the musical publication Everybody Shimmies Now. They published her picture. Our reader expects scandal, dirt, and debauchery. What is her scandalousness? Where are the affairs with married politicians, presidents, just plain scumbags, after all? You ask. To be known as a scandalous woman, she wouldn't even have to have an affair with some dandy. Mae West was the epitome of scandal. She was much bolder and more uninhibited than was customary back then. Looseness was her middle name. Unconcealed sexuality was evident in her entire appearance and expressed in her dancing. If you want to do well, you have to do it yourself. So Ms. West wrote the play herself and starred in it herself. The play raised an important theme for all times: the right of women to express their sexuality. To hell with sanctimony, to hell with morality. It was too new for 1926, too bold, too shameless, too vulgar. Everything was too much. The abundance of criticism didn't stop tickets from being sold out. Apparently, this angered the prudes even more. Eventually, the play was stopped. Mae West and her theater company were arrested and sentenced to 10 days in jail. Thanks to her exemplary behavior, she was released earlier than the offended haters wished. By the way, it is possible that she simply charmed the warden. Some sources claim that this was the case. This theory seems very plausible. This woman knew how to treat men. Imprisonment did not affect the popularity of little Mary Jane, or rather, it did her good. Mae West was offered a movie contract. Baby Jane did not miss her chance and agreed. During this period, Ms. West moves to Hollywood. The first movie in which Mae West starred is the picture Night After Night. This is a story about how a lonely and sad stranger deprives the peace of a former boxer who has everything a man could wish for. Mae West starred in the movie She Was Wrong. It was based on her own play. The company of Mae West was what it takes, because together with her, in the movie starred Cary Grant. Apparently, the movie was not bad. He was nominated for an Oscar. Mae West, without a doubt, reached great heights. She was very rich, very famous, and very edgy. The sexuality of her films was mercilessly criticized. Plays and screenplays were censored, edited, and changed to more respectable titles. That didn't stop Jane West from writing a bunch more successful screenplays and saving the Paramount Movie Company from ruin. Do you know the authors of all those aphorisms and winged expressions you use in your daily life? I don't think so. That's why it's not unreasonable to do a little literacy. Is that a gun in your pocket? Or are you just happy to see me? Yes, this phrase belongs to this very scandalous actress. You have probably heard this phrase in one situation or another, in one version or another, but did not even guess that it was invented by this sharp-tongued scandalist. And the following phrase will surely be remembered by those who went to the movie Deadpool. My left foot, Christmas, my right foot, Easter, why don't you come to me between these holidays? Now, do you see why Mae was lauded as a scandalized woman and sex symbol? Her sexuality wasn't limited to her cleavage, and she didn't need to show up at social gatherings with famous men to be famous. She coped with everything and without these mandatory attributes of a socialite. But about the personal life of the actress, we will still talk. At the age when many girls get their first boyfriend, Mae got her first husband. As a 17-year-old girl, she married Frank Wallace. He was a vaudeville performer. The newlyweds were not destined to meet a peaceful old age by the fireplace. After some time, Mae and Frank separated like ships at sea. But they did not bother and filed for divorce. The marriage was concluded in 1911, and in 1935, after the couple had time to live separately, Frank again met with his wife. No, it's not a matter of sudden passion or sweet nostalgic sadness. Waiving the certificate of marriage, Wallace demanded from his wife his half of the property. The divorce process was difficult and long. The marriage finally broke up in 1942. There is also information that the former Mrs. Wallace was married to a musician of Italian descent. Guido Darrow became Mary Jane's husband in 1913, and the union broke up 3 years later. Mae's men also include a wealthy lawyer named James Timoney. There are many rumors about Mae's marriages and their duration. Some say that her marriage to Timoney lasted for many years. Others claim that her longest relationship was with her young lover Paul Novak, and that she never married Timoney at all. Mae took a break and stopped appearing on screens. She continued her theater career. She toured with her theater production about Empress Catherine, and then came up with her own show, Mae West and Her Adonises. She sang surrounded by half-naked bodybuilders and acted out hilarious skits. One of the bodybuilders, by the way, she was in a relationship with, although she didn't admit it for a long time. That bodybuilder's name was Paul Novak. He was said to be 30 years younger than his girlfriend. She was present at the Oscars and managed to release an autobiography, which became a bestseller, appeared on television shows, and even recorded albums in the style of rock and roll. In the 70s, Mae again appeared on the big screens, but critics smashed the movies in the dust and dust. Facts and Voices. Mae West is the recipient of her own star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. The scandalous play The Interference involved travesti and homosexuals. Because of the fact that Miss West defended the rights of travesti, there were rumors that Mae herself belongs to their number. According to various reports, Mae West signed her contract with Paramount either at the age of 38 or in her 40s. Either way, she looked quite Hollywood. The last movie with Mae came out in 1978. Sextet failed at the box office. His marriage Mae denied and concealed. Had it not been for official testimony, she would have continued to deny her marriage when her first husband showed up at her door demanding a division of property. Mae dropped out of high school to tour with a theater company. West was witty and not shy about talking about sex. What contemporaries were afraid to even think about, she calmly discussed in public. It is said that Mae herself offered Cary Grant for a role in one of the pictures with her participation. Mol, he has already demonstrated his abilities in bed. She demanded that in the film Pretty 90s played an African American. It was unthinkable. Black people then generally did not appear on the screens. The producers made a concession, and the picture was a resounding success. In order to circumvent censorship, Mae used ambiguous phrases. They were pronounced with such intonation that it was impossible not to catch the piquancy of the situation. But since there was no actual violation of censorship, there was nothing to criticize. The censors could not prevent Ms. West's success. Mae West is Salvador Dali's muse. Mae West is called America's first sex symbol. Mae West's height was about 152 centimeters. She wore shoes on an impressive platform, up to 24 centimeters. Salvador Dali went further than painting portraits. He created a room dedicated to the actress. It was made in the form of her face. For example, the sofa was made in the shape of Mae's lips. As a vaudeville actress, she was nicknamed Baby Mae. In 1935, she was the second richest person in the United States. Surpassing her was newspaper magnate William Hearst. She wore naked dresses long before current celebrities. A collection of clothes was created in her honor, and her figure inspired Elsa Schiaparelli to create a perfume bottle.